fast food companies scramble to find workers during the pandemic, cooks and cashiers at McDonald's restaurants across the state went on strike today. The workers are demanding the company pay every worker a minimum of at least $15 an hour. Here in Michigan, the minimum wage is just under $10, which is significantly higher than the national average. However, multiple states are on the way to increasing minimum wage to $15 an hour, including California, Illinois, New York, and Florida. So why the deep debate around minimum wage? Well, supporters believe the move would spur job growth and reduce poverty and income inequality. But on the other side, opponents believe that increased wages would actually hurt businesses and force companies to close and lay off workers. 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell is going deeper tonight to get both sides of the story.
Outside of McDonald's on Van Dyke on Detroit's east side, protesters call for a higher minimum wage.
They can afford to pay us $15 an hour.
JAMIKA RUFFIN is a mom of 3 from Highland Park. She makes $9.45 an hour at McDonald's.
$9.45?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 kids.
Okay, so you got 3 kids.
Yes.
Making $9.45.
Yes.
How much is childcare for 3 kids?
Oh, a lot.
She says she came out to the protest for her children.
I wish I could have did more for him. I wish I could do more, but right now we just survive.
President Joe Biden said he supports a $15 federal minimum wage. So what would the impact be if that happened?
A lot of times the narrative that comes with the potential for minimum wage increases that it could lead to overall job loss. The research, really does not, support that.
Patrick COONEY oversees the partnership on economic mobility between the University of Michigan and the city of Detroit.
There have been a number of studies about the minimum wage in the past 20 or 30 years. There was a famous one that was done in fast food restaurants in New Jersey and Pennsylvania that showed that when the minimum wage was raised in the short term, there actually was not a lot of job losses.
Ari Schwader is with the Business Economics and Public Policy Department at the University of Michigan Ross School of Business. Both say while there are trade-offs, it isn't always clear what they will be. You may or may not see business profits, prices, or jobs impacted.
You may have seen a supply and demand curve like this one used to explain what will happen if the minimum wage is increased. In theory, we would go from having this number of jobs at the prevailing wage to this number of jobs at the minimum wage. But there's a catch. Economists say that this only works in a competitive market.
In other words, we assume that there are a lot of employers out there looking to hire people, and there are a lot of employees out there looking to work at these sorts of jobs. Now, in some places that might be true, but I think certainly there are places where that is not true.
You might not have a competitive labor market if a large employer with a lot of power employs many in a community, if unions don't have power, or if workers have to sign non-competes, which this study found some food chains are using to drive down wages. In some cases, a higher minimum wage results in job losses.
The company then decides to increase the rate of automation or reduce the number of workers that they're hiring because the wage rate is higher. Then you have a group of people who might have a job, but now aren't going to have a job because the wage rate is higher.
These experts say the impact will be different in different geographies or industries. In cities like Detroit, where there are jobs unfilled and unemployed people, you might actually see an increase in the number of people employed.
There's also this idea of potential employment gain, where if you can get more workers to re-engage with the labor market at this higher clearing wage, that's a good thing.
I did reach out to McDonald's for comment in response to the Fight for 15 protests. I was told that at their corporate stores, they are raising their wages. However, most of their restaurants are not corporate owned. Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Kim, thank you. For a closer look at the minimum wages being offered in different industries, from retail and food service to banking, head to our website, WXYZ.com.